Night in Toronto. Buck Martinez, Pat Tomlin, and Roush Madani. We're glad you're with us for Game 3 of this 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox. Tony La Russa has got his shortstop back, Tim Anderson, a former batting champ. He won a batting title in 2019, hitting .335. He's not played since Friday, and they need him back in the lineup. He just had sore legs and playing on the artificial turf at Tropicana Field, and here at Rogers Center, they decided to give him a few days off. Let's take a look at the lineup for Tony La Russa. The White Sox are 73-54. Yoán Moncada has an 11-game hit streak. He's hit .366 in that hit streak. He's a tough switch hitter, hitting second. Then Abreu, he leads baseball with RBIs. Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, middle of the order. Andrew Vaughn had a home run against Robbie Ray in Chicago back in June. Hernandez is back at second, and Robbie Ray is set to work to the White Sox tonight.
Start number 25 for Robbie Ray. He's been on a roll lately. He was really good his last time out. 8 innings, 1-run ball, 5 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. That's the 6th player in franchise history to throw 8 innings with 11 strikeouts and no walks. The last person to do that, David Percy, did that back in 2008 versus Tampa Bay. He's got that .279 earned run average, 178 strikeouts. Both of those rank second in the American League.
Ray is set. First pitch is cut out and hit to right field, but Teoscar is there. Anderson's retired on 1 pitch, 1 away.
Good start for Robbie Ray. Let's take a look at the defense tonight for the Blue Jays. Corey Dickerson in left field. Randall Grichuk back out in center field tonight. You saw Teoscar in right field. Espinal gets to start again at third base. Bichette Simeon up the middle. Lourdes Gurriel will get the start at first base. DHing is Vladimir Guerrero. Alejandro Kirk behind the dish. And Gurriel, this is his 7th start over at first base. He's played 15 1/3 innings, 56 total chances, no errors. He's looked good over there. So when Vladdy DHs, Gurriel's become the backup first baseman.
Here is Yoán Moncada. We mentioned his 11-game hit streak. He takes a first pitch strike. Moncada for the season batting .262. During that 11-game hit streak, batting .366, as we mentioned. Switch hitter batting right-handed against Robbie Ray. He laid on a fastball that's quickly 0-2.
Robbie Ray has been on a nice roll like we were saying. He has been using that fastball. We talked about it in the opening, how good he was against the White Sox. There are the numbers right there on June the 8th, 13 strikeouts. He was ahead of the hitters all night long. He said every one of his pitches were working that night.
Well, he has really been terrific, and his consistency has been remarkable. He's ironed out command issues going back to several years, and he's pitching with a lot of confidence, Pat, and I think that makes a big difference for anybody, whether you're a pitcher or a position player.
He is repeating his delivery. He is consistent with that. He maintains his power throughout the game also. That's a pretty good slider right there. It's just inside, but he maintains that power. The last inning he works tonight, his fastball will be just as fast as it is here in the first inning.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He works with Alejandro Kirk again tonight. There's a high fastball found out of play. He and Kirk have teamed up very effectively. Robbie Ray likes the way that Kirk calls a game. He said oftentimes they're thinking on the same page, and he will look in for a pitch and Kirk will call the one he's thinking about.
Yeah, that is something for a rookie like Alejandro Kirk, who hasn't really had a lot of time with Robbie Ray, but you're right. He says they're on the same page. They like working to him.
Well, there's that wicked slider. First strikeout for Robbie Ray. After a couple of good fastballs up in the zone, he finishes them off with the breaking pitch.
Boy, it's a tight, spinning slider. There's the grip right there. He pulls down on it, and you can see that tight spin that helps it to get underneath the bat. For a batter, you don't see it. You think it's a fastball. You can't pick up the spin. He's got his first strikeout tonight.
Here's Jose Abreu. Abreu had a big game last night, 4 RBIs and a 3-run home run in the first inning. He leads the majors in ribbies. He's driven in 96. Hitting .257, 26 homers and 96 RBIs. Upstairs with the fastball at 96. He's late on.
Yeah, a little bit better start tonight. 5 pitches into the game last night. Blue Jays were down 3-0, thanks to Jose Abreu's three-run home run. Tonight, Robbie Ray, he needs to go deep. He needs to have a good game tonight. Blue Jays need to get back onto that winning streak, and he's just the man to supply it.
Ball on the strike to Abreu. Fastball hit past Bo Bichette in the left field. Abreu's aboard with a 2-out single. Jose Abreu, he's a tough out, despite the fact he's hitting just .257. He is tough to put away.
I've looked at his hot and cold zones, and his cold zone is up and in, or anything in. Anything out over the plate, he seems to hammer. That pitch didn't get in as much as he wanted to, and Abreu was able to get to it and keep that ball fair into left field. Yeah, he is a tough out because there's not a lot of holes in his swing.
The batter is Eloy Menace. He takes a breaking ball inside for a ball. The White Sox are really well represented internationally. They've got a lot of different players from different countries. Jimenez, Abreu, of course Gurriel, they're all from Cuba. Luis Robert as well. So I'm sure that Gurriel and Abreu comparing notes. Abreu is a real good hitter and has been for a long time. Internationally, he was a terrific hitter for a long time. Represented Cuba on their national team. Inside again. It's 2 balls and a strike.
That's where you want to pitch him. You want to pitch him inside. He's another one. He's a lot like Abreu. Anything out over the plate, he can seem to handle. Down and away from a righty, not so much. But I think you need to jam him. You got to keep that ball inside against him so he doesn't extend his arms through the baseball.
There's a called strike. A fastball catches the inside corner. It's 2-2. Chicago scored 4 runs on 6 hits in the first inning in last night's game, and that was just too much for the Blue Jays to overcome. Jays would lose 5-2. Lucas Giolito will start tonight for Chicago. 2-2 pitch in the dirt. Full count now. Robbie Ray working with 2 outs. The runner at first base. Abreu will be moving on to pitch. Luis Robert is on deck. Robert hit leadoff in the game last night against Jose Barrios and started things off with a leadoff single. No score, top of the first. Abreu with a big lead at first. There he goes. Cut out and missed. Robbie Ray with a couple of strikeouts. The White Sox will leave a base runner on. They'll go to the bottom of the first. Top of the order for the Jays. Bichette, Simeon, and Guerrero. He was officially 1 for 3. Hit the ball hard a couple of times. He lined out to start his night. Lined out to the right fielder. Swinging the bat a little bit better of late. Back in the leadoff spot again tonight. Take a look at the lineup for Charlie Montoya's Blue Jays, trying to get things going. Last night, just 2 runs on 9 hits as they have split the first 2 games of this series. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. down in the 7th spot. In his last 12 games, hit nearly 400. 4 extra base hits, 10 RBIs, and an OPS over 1. The Blue Jays got to get something going offensively, and the biggest thing, I think, is that they just haven't been able to string hits together. They've got to start doing that a little more consistently.
Yeah, they will face Lucas Giolito. A little bit different look from Dylan Cease last night. A lot of power last night from Cease. A little bit more finesse tonight from Lucas Giolito. 26th start of the season. Ranks among American League leaders in strikeouts, whip. Opponent's batting average against just .222. He hasn't faced the Blue Jays for a couple of years. This is just his 4th career start. Second at Rogers Center. Last time they faced him was 2019. He's got a good fastball, an outstanding changeup, and a developing slider. That's been the talk of baseball.
First pitch is cut on and missed by Bo Bichette. Bouncing ball toward third. Big hop for Moncada. Long throw in time. One away.
Let's take a look at the rest of the defense that Tony La Russa has penciled in tonight. Andrew Vaughn in left field, a very fast Luis Robert in center field. Luis Garcia, who was at second base last night, will now play right field tonight. Abreu Hernandez on the right side. Anderson Moncada on the left side. Sebi Zavala back behind the plate. And they are so happy to have Tim Anderson back in there. He's missed 4 out of the last 5 games. He's the heart and soul of this team. They get to pencil him in tonight.
He's rock steady at shortstop. He's a former batting champ. He enters this game hitting over 300, and it's good to have him back. Here's Marcus Semien, Blue Jays second baseman. Lines this one to right field. Get down. That's a fair ball. Into the stands for a ground rule double. Marcus Semien starts his night off with an opposite field ground rule double. His 34th double of the season.
I think everybody knows that you pitch him inside, he has the ability to turn on it, so pitchers are starting to throw that fastball away. That's a good piece of hitting right there for Marcus Semien as he stays on that fastball away and lines the ball. Doesn't get underneath that thing, lines that ball to right center or down the right field line for extra bases. That's something, Buck, he's done all season long. Gather those extra base hits.
Yeah, when you look at the doubles later, Semien with 34. Breaking ball cut on and missed by Guerrero. There's that slider you're talking about, Pat. It's the new wrinkle that he's used in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's something that he's been trying to work on to come up with that third pitch. And he's worked with his pitching coach on developing that slider. He said, I can't be a fastball changeup guy my whole life.
There's a slider, and Guerrero bounces out to the shortstop as Semien goes over to third, but now there are 2 outs. Yeah, when you're a starting pitcher and you have basically 2 pitches, he's always been a fastball changeup guy. He's got an exceptional changeup. But it's interesting, the development of this slider. They've incorporated a curveball to help him with the spin on his slider, and the slider has been a productive pitch for him. It's going to take the hitters a while to get used to seeing a third pitch from Giolito.
Yeah, and he's got great stuff. He was getting by. That's Ethan Katz, his pitching coach, who was his pitching coach in high school out in California. And they came up with the plan that, hey, you need that third pitch to become a complete pitcher. And his second half has been outstanding for the White Sox.
Teoscar Hernandez batting with a man at third and 2 outs. He falls behind 0-1. There's another slider. Boy, he's used it quite a bit here in the early going.
Yeah, there was some talk that, hey, when should you use the slider? Should you throw your fastball changeup and then surprise them? And Ethan Katz, his pitching coach, has, said, hey, let's use it early. Let's get it incorporated early in the count. Use that slider. Put it in the heads of those hitters that you're going to throw it.
Missed with that fastball. It's 1-2.
Giolito has become a very good pitcher. He had a rough season last year. He's good a couple of seasons ago, but putting that extra pitch in there has taken him to the next level. They really haven't had a real good look at it. They're hitting just 200 against that slider this year.
And there's the changeup to finish off the at-bat. Teoscar strikes out. Blue Jays get a double, leave a runner at third. Scoreless after 1 at Rogers Center.
This season approaching his 30th birthday that Ray truly realized the pursuit for near perfection just isn't a reality. Not for him, not for defenders, not for umpires. And previously in his career, if a call wouldn't go his way or if a batter just simply won a battle where he thought he actually delivered a good pitch, Ray would spiral. Well, no longer. He told me, I finally realized it's onwards, it's on to the next one, and it just gives me such a better mindset. As a result, all the pressure that Ray used to put on himself, well, much of that is gone. And there have been adjustments on the mound, too. He's more free in his delivery, been on the attack, aggressively pursuing strike one. But most of all, Robbie Ray has become comfortable in his own skin. That when something doesn't go right, or even if it does, it's on to the next pitch. Always the next pitch with Robbie Ray, and that mantra has helped, Buck.
Corey Dickerson right on the warning track as he hauls it in. Luis Robert flies out to deep left field. That was a high slider. Arash, that was a terrific point you made about Robbie Ray not trying to be perfect, and this game is hard enough, and if you expect perfection, you're going to fail. That's very similar to the same thing that happened to Jay Happ a couple of years ago. Jay was of the same mindset. He said, I had perfection on my mind, and once I got over that, I became a much better pitcher.
In this game, that's impossible. This is a game of failure, and how you deal with that failure says a lot about yourself. And I think, Buck, it takes some time to play in the big leagues and to have some success, have some failure, and then have some success again. Then you can just wash away those bad outings. You can wash away those bad plays. As Corey Dickerson gets another shot at that fly ball to left field. And it's a lot easier after you have a couple of years in the big league and you've tasted success to know what to go back to get back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Robbie Ray has really pitched well all season long. He's got the second lowest ERA among American League qualifiers behind Lance Lynn. But the Blue Jays are just 12-12 in his starts, and they just haven't scored many runs for him. He's given up 5 runs in 27 innings over 4 starts in August. Just 5 runs in those 27 innings, all no decisions. And the team has scored just 6 total runs in his 4 starts in August. Here's Cesar Hernandez, second baseman, a switch hitter. Hernandez did not play in the game last night as Garcia started at second. 2 outs, top of the second. Hernandez has 12 home runs against left-handed pitching. He's got 20 overall, career high for Hernandez. Upstairs with the fastball, it's 1-2.
We talked in the opening about Robbie Ray's great start against the White Sox. Pitched into the 7th inning, gave up just 1 run, 13 strikeouts. You know what he got for that? No decision. Blue Jays could not score him any run, but he did his job.
Well, what a good inning for Robbie Ray. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout through 2 innings. He's struck out 3 already tonight. The whip walks and hits per innings pitched, and when you look at the lowest AL whip leaders from 2019 to 2021, it's an impressive list of dominant pitchers for sure.
You know, that means that you're around the plate, you can command the strike zone, and you're getting outs, you're pitching deep into the ball game, that your stuff plays within the strike zone. You're not just blowing balls by everybody. Your stuff is playing within the strike zone. All 3 of those guys up there, Giolito, Bieber, and Cole, their stuff is outstanding, but they can command it and they can get outs in the strike zone.
They don't have many base runners, obviously, and that's how you win games. Keep guys off bases. Corey Dickerson, he takes a first pitch strike on the outside corner. Dickerson had a home run in the 7th inning in last night's game against Dylan Cease. And they try to work him upstairs. Everybody in the world knows he's a low ball hitter.
Yeah, so they will try to pound that fastball up. At times they'll try to pound it in. Last night that didn't work. He had a beautiful swing on an inside fastball that he was able to get to and keep fair to right field.
Boy, that's a great changeup. That changeup right there reminds me of Marco Estrada's changeup. it just looks like it floats up there, and it's there, and then you swing, and it's not there. And he got a great delivery on it, a perfect arm action. He sells it very well.
You know, it's like, and Marco talked about this, like a cue ball coming up there. The spin, he would create backspin. A lot of times, change-ups, they have side spin and it goes down, but his change-up is on the same plane as his fastball. That was a high fastball right there, right over the top, and then the change-up stays right on the same plane as his fastball, but he just takes a lot of miles per hour off of it, and he's got great arm action with it. I mean, he really throws that ball like a fastball, and the thing just floats in like Marco's.
2-2 pitch. There's that slider again and missed inside. It's a full count to Dickerson. Orlando Kirk, the catcher, is on deck. Kirk got a couple of hits in the game last night, including a ground rule double to center. Cut on and missed that changeup, very effective. Well, tonight is the 1-year anniversary of the no-hitter that Giolito threw last year against Pittsburgh at Guaranteed Rate Field. He issued 1 walk and struck out a career-high 13, and he had everything working in that game, Pat.
Yeah, he said he remembers how the offense gave him a 4-0 lead after 3 innings, how the defense behind him was pristine, and how the catcher, James McCann, called the game. He said they were on the same page the whole night. You know, not a lot of people throw no-hitters. He got one, and tonight is the anniversary of it. He was sensational that night.
His 13 strikeouts were the most ever by a Sox pitcher in a no-hitter. Broke the record of Philip Umber, who had a perfect game and had the record for strikeouts in a no-hitter. Alejandro Kirk falls behind quickly, 0-2. That was the 19th no-hitter in franchise history. Carlos Rodon, who will start tomorrow afternoon, threw the 20th no-hitter back on the 14th of April this year. Popped up behind home and over the screen, out of play.
Yeah, Giolito was talking about that the other day, and he said as sweet as that no-hitter was, it didn't top starting game 1 of the American League Wild Card Series last season against the Athletics. He said he felt a lot of pressure there. He knew the whole town of Chicago was watching. The team hadn't been in the playoffs for a while. Starting that game was more exciting than throwing a no-hitter. Find that hard to believe, but I'll take his word for it. Throwing a no-hitter is pretty cool.
Yeah, but you know what? I think most players play for team accomplishments. When you get a chance to start a playoff game, when the team puts that in your hands, I think that's quite an acknowledgement of just how much confidence they have in you. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Alejandro Kirk. Foul back. He had a good cut at that high fastball. We mentioned Alejandro had a couple of hits last night. He hit a ground rule double to right center in the 5th inning and had a big hit in that 9th inning rally. The Blue Jays would make a run at Chicago, but it fell short as they lost 5-2 in that game. One and two. Another changeup popped over the screen. Pat, you made a great point about the cue ball effect of that changeup. When a hitter sees it, it's got such good spin on it, you can't pick up any seams, and it looks like a white fastball, and it's going to be a changeup.
Because he throws right over the top, he can create backspin like a 4-seam fastball, but it just takes something off of it. Normally, changeups will go down, or they will sink, or they will cut. His stays right on plane, and that's what makes it so tough to hit. He's a big guy. He creates a nice downward plane where he releases the ball as he's going towards home plate. And now you add that slider and an occasional curveball in. I mean, you can see why he's become a complete pitcher.
Slider is outside. Giolito's 6'6", and he weighs 245. Just hitting the prime of his career. He's 27. Originally drafted by the Washington Nationals in the first round of the 2012 draft. Gurriel waits on deck. Bouncing ball toward third. Moncada throws on the run. 2 down. Now a message from DoorDash.
Enjoy $0 delivery fees for your first month with DoorDash, official on-demand delivery platform for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Bottom of the second, 2 outs. Scoreless ball game. Lucas Giolito uses that breaking ball and changeup very effectively. Got Kirk to ground out to the third baseman, Moncada. Marcus Semien has the only hit for the Blue Jays, an opposite field ground rule double down the right field line. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. swinging the bat well. He goes after a high breaking ball and hits a sky-high pop-up. Andrew Vaughn waits on the Blue Jays, and Jays go down in order. 1, 2, 3. Couple of strikeouts in the game for Giolito. Still scoreless after 2. Pitchers to pitchers, and it's pretty interesting how Robbie Ray compares to Garrett Cole over their last 22 starts.
Yeah, you can see the numbers are almost identical over those last 22 starts. Cole is the highest paid starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, probably the best starter in the American League. Robbie Ray is going to be a free agent, and Robbie is just 29 years old, having a sensational season. So he's going to hit free agency after a really good season. This is going to be a really interesting offseason, I think, for the Blue Jays. It'll be a good one, I think, for Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray signed a 1-year deal with the Blue Jays for $8 million very quickly after he became a free agent. After this year, he'll have over 7 years of service in the big leagues, and once again, he'll be a free agent. There's a first pitch breaking ball to Leury Garcia. Garcia is playing in right field tonight. He started at second base in last night's game. That slider in the dirt. It's a ball and a strike. You know, the Blue Jays have 38 games, including this game, left in their schedule. And, yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but all you can do is worry about this game tonight. And when you think about it, look at the wild card standings. The Blue Jays are now 5.5 games back of that second spot. They actually trail the Mariners by 2.5 games. Seattle's 3 back. So they've got to really focus, and literally one game at a time. I mean, you can't worry about, boy, we should have won that game, or, man, that one got away from us. You have to just focus on these next 38 games. And there's the standings for the wild card. The Yankees have leapfrogged over Boston. Boston's starting to play a little bit better now. Oakland hanging in there, and Seattle's a surprise of that wild card race right there.
Charlie Montoyo has done a good job, I think, all season long at keeping his team in the now, accentuating the positive, just thinking about today. And I think if you can break it down, there's just under 6 weeks left in the season. I think if the Jays look at it, we need to pick up a game every week. Let's try and pick up a game on that wild card every week. By that last week, you'll be fighting for a playoff spot. So if you can break it down that way, by weeks, you can break it down by series. I think that might be the easiest way. Hey, on Sunday, let's make sure we pick up a game in the standings, and do that every week, and you're going to be fighting for that playoff spot that last week of the season.
There's a line drive to left. That's going to get down in front of Corey Dickerson. There's Garcia. It's the second hit, a leadoff single here in the third. Well, when you look at the Blue Jays schedule, they're going to play the Yankees 7 more times, as you see this swing by Garcia, that high breaking ball, and he hits it into left. They play the Yankees 7 more times. They play the Minnesota Twins 7 times. They haven't faced them yet. They have 10 games remaining with Baltimore and 6 with Tampa Bay. So it's a mixed bag. Of course, nobody's hotter than the Yankees right now. They have won 11 in a row, and they had a little bit of an adventure last night as Chapman couldn't close out the game, and Atlanta made it close at the end, but the Yankees have won 11 straight. Zavala goes after the first pitch and swings and misses.
They also have a 3-game series at Rogers Center against one of the teams they're facing ahead of them, Oakland. And, you know, they can do some damage with some head-on-head right there. I think where you would mess up if you're the Blue Jays, you start thinking about all the teams you have to pass. I think you got to find it in a simpler form or simpler stats. You know, we can't worry about all these teams we have to pass in this amount of games. Just think about picking up a game a week, and you'll be knocking on the door.
Another high fastball swing and a miss by Zavala. Seby Zavala started the first night on Monday night. He had an 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Zach Collins, a left-handed hitter, started in last night's game. Another high fastball he wouldn't chase. No score, top of the third. Garcia at first base will lead off single. Courtesy toss over to first just to check in on Garcia. He's 3 for 4 in steal attempts, but with the guy at the plate striking out a lot, I don't think they're going to start the runner in this situation. Top of the order, Tim Anderson is on deck. Once again, he checked his swing. Jordan Baker down at first, indicating no swing. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes, the number 9 hitter. Yali Montoya feels very good with Robbie Ray going to the mound. Ray pitched 8 innings last time out. It's the first time a Blue Jay starter went 8 innings since Marcus Stroman back in 2019 in April that year. There's a good slider. It's fouled off at the plate.
He did all that in 109 pitches. He also had 11 punch-outs in that game against Detroit. I like how they're pushing him a little bit more now as the season gets a little bit deeper. You can start to see the end. They pushed him. They gave him 7 innings. They sent him back out for the 7th inning 2 starts ago in Seattle. They sent him back out there for that 8th inning against Detroit, and they show a lot of confidence in him doing that.
Swing and a miss. Zavala strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Robbie Ray.
Step up to the plate and take on any DIY project. At Home Hardware Building Centers, we have everything to build anything. Here's how.
Nice evening in Toronto down by the lake shore. Just a couple of blocks away. Rogers Center. Tim Anderson, he lined the first pitch he saw to right field. First out of the ball game. He had a big game Friday night in St. Pete against the Rays. And a game-tying home run, and it had a base hit to win it in extra innings. And then the White Sox would not have Anderson for those next 2 games, and the first 2 games here in this series as he was dealing with sore legs, according to his manager, Tony La Russa. There's a good slider. Cut on and missed. It's 0-2.
Sore hammies. You want to talk about consistency. He's got a 10-game hit streak. There it is right there. He's had 3 separate 10-game hit streaks this year. He's one of 4 players with 3 separate 10-game hit streaks. Adam Frazier, Whit Merrifield, and Cedric Mullins, the other 3. But you want to talk about consistency day in and day out and bringing it every day. Tim Anderson's one of the best in the American League at doing just that. They call him the heart and soul of this team, and they missed him the last 4 nights.
And during that hit streak as well, he scored 12 runs. That slider is down and in. As we mentioned, he won a batting title in 2019. He led the American League with a .335 average. He's been dealing with the tight hamstrings and playing on the artificial surface at Tropicana Field and here at Rogers Center. That can aggravate those leg issues. There's another toss over to first base. Tim Anderson said he felt great after running the bases prior to last night's game and reported back to the skipper. He said, "Hey, I'm good to go." So here he is. Look at the intensity on La Russa. Tony's been doing this a long time, and he hasn't lost that fiery edge. This is his 34th season as a manager. His 60th season overall in pro ball. And he's still top of the dugout watching every pitch. He doesn't miss a thing.
Yeah, he doesn't sit down very much, does he? He is intense. He is laser focused on that field.
Well, there's another great slider from Robbie Ray Anderson. Strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts after the leadoff single here in the third.
Robbie got Tim Anderson on a slider the last time these teams met back in Chicago. One of those bounced. He's just not picking up that slider. It's a good one. It's tight. When he keeps it down, it looks like a fastball, and he's got some swing and misses against that slider already tonight.
2 outs now for Ray. That's 5 strikeouts through 2 2/3. Yoan Moncada struck out on a slider his first time up. There's a fastball. Let me ask you something, Pat. As a hitter, how much does Ray's ability to throw strikes with his fastball impact the hitters, and they swing a lot and miss at his slider?
It's so huge for him. I think that's the biggest step that Robbie has taken this year, his consistency in throwing strikes, especially with his fastball. When you're pounding that zone, fastball, 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 and it's a good one. It's 95 to 97 miles an hour. Guys are locked in and they're looking for it. Then you throw that slider. It looks like a fastball, but it's got movement. That's where he can pick up a lot of his slider or his strikeouts, and that's where he does get a lot of his strikeouts. His consistency in the strike zone has been phenomenal this year.
The runner going to throw is not in time as Garcia picks up his 4th stolen base of the season. He gets himself into scoring position with 2 outs here. Big stolen base, his 4th of the season. As we mentioned, he's only been caught once.
Yeah, and the right time to go also. 2 strikes with 2 outs. You take the gamble that he can get in scoring position. You give Moncada 1 strike to try and knock him in. If he gets thrown out, Moncada starts next inning with a clean slate, a new count, and he'll start next inning.
Down and in again with that slider. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Moncada, and Garcia takes third. Robbie Ray focused on the hitter, and Garcia got a big lead and just moves over to third with another stolen base. There's a slider. Interesting watching Kirk behind the plate with the runner at third. In 2 outs, he's using a traditional catcher's stance. Remember, he had that wild pitch get by him in the 8th inning, his last start, Ray's last start against the Tigers. He was down on one knee, and that ball got through him, and now he's up on the conventional catcher's stance. Fastball fouled out of play.
Yeah, maybe a change of philosophy, and I agree with it. You need to block a ball if it's in the dirt, and it's hard to block when you're down on one knee. We've seen it time and time again, that ball go back to the backstop. You throw one here and it's a run. But you're in that traditional stance now. You can just go down to your knees and block it if there is a ball in the dirt. It's the right call.
Little flare into right field. That's going to drop for a base hit. A run comes in to score, and Moncada, a successful at bat. He didn't hit it hard, but he hit it in a good spot. And the White Sox break out on top. So leadoff single, couple of stolen bases by Garcia, and he comes in to score the first run of the ball game.
the stolen base pays off. Again, that's why you do that. Well, you got one of your better hitters coming up in Moncada. You take a chance that the stolen base, you get him in the scoring position, and then he will plate him with this ball. Arash was talking earlier about Robbie letting go. This would be a good time to just let that go. He made a good pitch, and Moncada burned him with that blooper to right field for an RBI single. That's a good one to just forget about and concentrate on the next guy.
And he comes right back and throws a strike, and that's what Arash was talking about earlier in his discussion about Robbie Ray, how he can separate one pitch to the next and not worry about that little flare into right field. He made a good pitch, and he comes back and makes a good pitch to Abreu. Another fastball missed the inside corner. Ray kind of questioning that call. Casigo behind the plate, and that was a fastball that just missed the inside edge.
Yeah, and he called it. He said, hey, that ball's inside. He let everybody know. You could hear the umpire say that after that pitch. So you just have to make the adjustment right here. It looked like it might have been inside.
And he comes back with a slider in the same spot and gets a swing and a miss from Abreu. One and two. Got him. Come right back with that slider. And the White Sox, they get a 2-out base hit, take a 1-0 lead. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet, presented by TD. In the postseason, single game tickets for all the remaining 2021 games go on sale tomorrow. Socially distanced seating options are available on both the 100 and 200 levels. Visit BlueJays.com for tickets. Promises to be a lot of good games here the rest of the way for the Blue Jays. And we want you to come down and enjoy it. Baltimore will be here in the next homestand with the Oakland A's following them. Tampa Bay also makes a visit in September. Minnesota. And you can see the Yankees in Baltimore, the final homestand of the season. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays. Grichuk, Espinal, and Bo Bichette as Lucas Giolito delivers the first pitch strike. Upstairs, ball on a strike to Randall. Chicago leads it 1-0. We're in the bottom of the third. There's that floater changeup, and it's a good one, man. It is really hard to wait back. You throw 93, 94 with the fastball, and then throw that changeup at 80 miles an hour. It just floats in there. There's a slider.
You know, isn't it interesting that a guy who's had success like Giolito, recognizing that I need to get better. Hitters are adjusting to me. I need to adjust to them, come up with something different, some kind of new wrinkle. And, you know, mature enough to understand that I can't be a two-pitch pitcher. I have to have something else to become that complete pitcher. So getting that third pitch, and he says, I know I can get that slider every single time. I can become a complete pitcher then. Now he's 9-9 with a very good earned run average. There's been some games where he's pitched really well and not got a win. He's pitched really well and got a loss. He's good. He's got what it takes.
Yeah, and I think he's at the age now, too, where he knows there's a little bit more. There's another level he can go to. He comes into this game with a 40-38 career record. His ERA is 4.28. It's not, it doesn't reflect his arsenal in my mind. I mean, he's got better stuff than that. And I think now he understands that you always have to try to improve and get better. and he wants to be among the best. 2-2 pitch. Hit into center field, and Robert is there. A couple of steps to his left, and Grichuk's retired. Marcus Semien has the only hit for the Blue Jays, a one-out double in the first. 6 in a row retired by Giolito. But you know, Pat, that's the beauty of baseball. No matter how good you are, the great players are always trying to get better. Nobody ever settles for this game. When you settle, you lost. You're going to be stagnant. You're going to go backwards. If more than anything, you're not going to progress at all. But Giolito is one of those guys that says, there's more in my game. I can get better. Santiago Espinal takes a slider just off the plate for ball 1.
A few years ago, he was not very good and said, you know what, I have to go back to the drawing board and remake myself. And remember when he first came up, he had that long arm swing, and I think batters could pick up the ball very easily against him. Well, he reworked his windup, his delivery, his arm swing, and came up and had a huge season 2 years ago when he went 14-9 for the White Sox. And that's, I think, what you're talking about, you know, there's more inside of me. Now let's take another step by incorporating a curveball and a slider. He's throwing his slider almost as much as his fastball now, which something is he didn't do the last couple of years. It was fastball and a high percentage of changeups. Those percentage of changeups have gone down and the slider's gone way up. That's how you reinvent yourself.
Back-to-back changeups right there, and Espinal swings right through the second one. 2-2 now. Giolito led the American League in earned runs allowed in 2018. He gave up 118 earned runs, and he had a 6.13 ERA. 2-2 pitch. Boy, 3 changeups in a row, and that shows you how good that pitch is. He strikes out Espinal. Third strikeout of the ball game.
Espy's a good fastball hitter. They know that. They weren't going to give him one. There's the ball right. He pronates as he lets it go right on the top and way out in front of that one. Look at how far out in front he is of that ball. That's a changeup. That's the effect. You're changing up off of the fastball, and it gets Espinal.
Bo hits it high and deep to left, but that's going to stay in the ballpark. Andrew Vaughn is there. That slider was up out over the plate. 3 up, 3 down for Giolito. He's retired 8 in a row. Every Wednesday, we'll show you scrambled words between the 4th and 6th innings. Go to Blue Jays page on the Ballpark app and click the Mystery Word Wednesdays icon, and you could win an autographed item or a $500 Jays Shop gift card, so check it out. Ace is checking it out, and you can do the same on that Blue Jays app. Nice night at Rogers Center, and a good ball game so far. 1-0 Chicago leads it as we are in the 4th. Noe Menes goes after the first pitch. Nice hop for Espinal at third base. Menes is retired, 1 down. Santiago Espinal has played very well defensively at third base. He has played more third base now than anybody on the Blue Jays. And, of course, we heard the news today that Cavan Biggio, who is in the minor leagues, has a strained ulnar collateral ligament in his left elbow. So he will be shut down at least for a week, and then they'll evaluate where he's at. So he's dealing with yet another injury. Luis Robert goes after that first pitch slider and swings and misses.
Yeah, that is bad news about Cavan. He has had a tough year when it comes to injuries. You know, that sounds like an injury, Buck, that might shelve him for the rest of the season. When you're talking about elbow and the UCL, and you know, you have to shut down baseball activities, and then you got to ramp it back up. How long does it take to get back into, you know, game condition? So that is bad news, and I feel bad for him because he's good dude, and he's just had a rough year when it comes to injuries.
Yeah, it all started in spring training. He took a throw off his throwing hand while playing third, a throw from the outfield, and then he hurt his fingers once again during the regular season. Had a neck ligament issue, lower back problem, and now he's dealing with an elbow injury. It's unfortunate. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet, presented by TD. Top of the fourth, Chicago leads it 1-0. Swing and a miss, another strikeout for Robbie Ray. That slider is working once again. 7 strikeouts for Ray so far.
Yeah, lefty or righty batter, it doesn't matter. You can load your team up with right-handed hitters when he's throwing a slider like he is tonight. It's in the middle of the zone, and now watch it just go out of the strike zone. I don't care. You can throw as many righties up in there if you want. It's not going to matter when he's throwing that kind of slider. That's another strikeout. That's 7 now, and we're only in the fourth.
You and I were right-handed hitters and we played, and there were certain guys, left-handed pitchers, that we didn't categorize as lefties. Robbie Ray's one of those guys. He's not left-handed, man. He's so good, you don't have any advantage when you go to the plate.
I'll name a few of them. Steve Carlton had that type of slider. Nasty. Ron Guidry's slider was like Robbie Ray's slider. Randy Johnson was no walk in the park when you faced him as a left-handed batter. Those guys were all nasty. The way Robbie's throwing tonight, I'm going to put him right in that category, just a shade below those guys, because those are Hall of Famers. But his stuff that I have seen this year matches with what those guys did in their prime.
Yeah, he is really not a lefty. Not one of those lefties you look forward to facing, that's for sure. Pitching with a lot of confidence, and I love the fact that Arash made, we'll go back and mention that once again, how he has been able to separate each pitch, and he doesn't dwell on a pitch that's already passed. And there's another great slider. 87 miles an hour down and in. Robbie Ray through 4 innings has 8 strikeouts, and that slider is money.
Getting to him, and when you're searching for it, you'll try just about anything to find an answer. Now, take a look at Vlad's hands from snapshots taken from this homestand. Sometimes with the batting gloves, other times without. Guerrero told me he ditched them for a while to try and get more of a feel of the ball coming off the bat when connecting. That's how we'd know if he was getting jammed or hitting the ball flush, or where and how he may be missing. Now, you may have also noticed Vlad's using different colored bats of late. Saw the black one earlier, there's the maple, a little bit of a maroon one. They're actually the same bat, same lumber, just different colors. But just trying to get a feel and a look of anything to get right again. Buck?
Well, Arash, and I can speak from experience, and I was nowhere near the hitter that Vladdy was, but boy, oh boy, when things don't go right, you try anything. I mean, I've got a bat order sheet from Louisville Slugger to prove that I was ordering all kinds of different bats throughout my career, trying to figure out the one that would work. There's a slider in there for a strike, but Pat, I'm sure you've gone through stretches like that where you'll try somebody else's bat. You might use a shorter bat, a longer bat, a heavier bat, just whatever it might be to get you going again. That's popped up by changeup that Simeon was out in front of, Vaughn over near the foul line.
Did you ever find one that worked? All those different bat orders?
Oh, no.
Types?
No, you know that.
You didn't find one that worked? Did the clubhouse guy come up to you and go, what are you ordering all these bats for? You don't even use them. You never break them.
You never hit anything. So here is Vladdy. Let's see if he can't get something going. His average at 308. And Arash mentioned it's been a struggle. He has 1 home run and 3 RBIs over his last 14 games. It's been a struggle, but it's not unusual for a young hitter. And you know what, Pat? He's kind of created his own problem because he was so good in the first half. He led the major leagues in OPS in the first half. So teams were literally having pitching seminars trying to figure out how to get Vladdy out. There's a changeup that missed downstairs. It's 2-0.
And the expectations, those can be really hard on a young player like Vladdy. You have a great first half, and now everybody expects you to do that again in the second half. It's a long season. Pitchers make adjustments. That's a good sign right there. Hitting it back.
Ball.
Yeah, hitting it back through the middle. That is a good sign. He's had 3 RBI singles in the second half. Every other RBI has come on a home run. But that is just something like this, where you stay on the ball and you hit it back through the middle. Something can click. Something starts to feel right. That's a good swing right there. Maybe he's on to something.
And you could bet he's talking hitting with Abreu at first base, 2 of the best run producers in the game. So here's Teoscar Hernandez. He struck out on a changeup his first time up. There's a fastball he swings and misses. You know, another thing that has changed from July to August for Guerrero, in July he had just 36% ground balls. In August it's up to 54%, hitting on more balls on the ground. There's a changeup that missed low. 1-1 to Teoscar.
Remember when everybody made the big deal about how he hits too many ground balls and all that kind of stuff? I wouldn't worry about that. He's smart. He's gaining experience. He's going to figure it out. He's just too talented.
Well, that changeup will always get Giolito back into the count. It's 1-2 now. Been good on the road over his last 5 starts coming in this game, and ERA under 2 and a whip under 1. But he is in the prime of his career, at a point where he's looking to take the next step. 1-2. Fastball at 93, and you can't blame Teoscar for being late after getting those great changeups.
Now, I think he would like to have that one back. That was a mistake right there by Giolito, and Teoscar fouled it back. He got that one pitch out over the plate and missed it. Maybe he was looking change up, or maybe he was looking slider, but he got the fastball right down the middle and he fouled it off.
Comes right back with a changeup and gets the strikeout. 4th strikeout for Giolito.
Is the all-new 2022 Honda Civic finally here? Yes. See more at honda.ca.
Now a beautiful shot of CN Tower right next door to Rogers Center. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Chicago has a 1-0 lead. John Moncada with an RBI loop single down the right field line as Corey Dickerson puts a charge in it, and that's going to be past Garcia all the way up against the wall. They're waving home the runner Guerrero, and there'll be no throw as Corey Dickerson has tied it up with an RBI triple with 2 outs here in the 4th.
Well, there's one thing Corey Dickerson can do, and he can hit. Just flat out hit. He wasn't going to waste any time seeing all those pitches from Giolito. He's going to jump on the first one that he sees. It's a breaking ball, and he splits the outfield in right center field. Vladdy with 2 outs, you just go on the crack of the bat. He sees that it's down. He knows right there he's got a chance to score. Picks up Luis Rivera. He's going to score without a throw. Blue Jays caught a break when that ball hit the fence out there and stayed against the fence. It didn't ricochet back to the outfielder. He had to go chase it down. By the time he did, Vladdy could circle the bases.
And there's a changeup called strike to Alejandro Kirk. A triple for Dickerson, his 5th of the season. And it ties the game at 1-1. High fastball fouled back. Corey Dickerson has 35 career triples. And we talked about him not being a real power guy. Has 127 career home runs in 909 games, but boy, he can hit some extra base hits. Kirk behind 0-2. Breaking ball hit into center. Robert to his right, and that'll end the inning. But Corey Dickerson ties things up. A 2-out RBI triple to the wall in right. After 4, it's a 1-1 game. Jays fan is going to win big. The 50-50 jackpot from Jays Care ends tomorrow. The jackpot is currently $228,000. A terrific jackpot for a great cause. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at BlueJays.com/5050. Somebody's going to win a nice prize once again. I like the fact that they are combining all of these sales online and at the ballpark, and they'll have one winner at the end of every homestand, so somebody's coming up with a big jackpot. Well, the Blue Jays have hit the jackpot right now. It's a 1-1 game, and Robbie Ray has 8 strikeouts through 4 innings. He has really had that slider working. He's thrown a lot of fastballs over, so the White Sox have to be aggressive. Cesar Hernandez will go after the first pitch slider and foul it out of play. With 8 strikeouts tonight, Robbie Ray now has 186 strikeouts. He's just 5 behind Garrett Cole for the lead in the American League. Down and in, ball. Remember, Robbie Ray had 13 strikeouts against the White Sox back in June. So he has had a good run against Chicago.
Yeah, and the slider's been outstanding. His fastball, this is a hitter I think that he should use his fastball against. There's one up and away. Coming into this series, Cesar Hernandez had a sub-200 batting average against the fastball, but he was leading Major League Baseball hitting the breaking ball, the off-speed pitch. So this might be a guy you might want to heat up and use the fastball against.
There's a slider pulled foul. The only run for the White Sox came on a 2-out jam shot single over the first baseman's head into right field. That was off the bat of Yoan Moncada. And scored Leury Garcia, who singled to start the inning and had a couple of stolen bases. It was a good block by Kirk. If you go back to the Chicago start for Ray, combine those 2 starts with tonight, he struck out 21 of 42 batters. Lots of swing and a miss for Ray against this White Sox lineup. There's a fastball that jammed him. Ray will have to take it himself, and it's close. Bang, bang at first. Pretty good play by Robbie Ray. Remember, we talk about how athletic he is. Gurriel, making just his 7th start at first, gave him a good feed and took Ray right to the bag.
Yeah, and he falls off towards the third base side, and the White Sox are not going to look at it. You can see as this followed through, he's got to turn, he's got to sprint, now he's got to find the ball. And the whole key to that is Gurriel's got to get him the ball early enough that he can catch it, and then it's a foot race to the bag. And he's there just ahead of Hernandez for the inning's first down. Good play by Gurriel and Robbie Ray, showing off his athleticism on that play.
You know, pitchers, they always complain about PFP, pitchers fielding practice. They do it a lot in spring training, but that's a result of that fielding practice. That was perfectly timed by both Gurriel and Robbie Ray. There's a fastball off the bat of Garcia, a foul. Garcia has scored the only White Sox run. He had a base hit to left field and then stole second and stole third. He scored with 2 outs on the Moncada base hit.
He's a good player. He came off the injured list. He was on the 7-day for a concussion and then spent some more time on that. Just came off yesterday, was right into the lineup in yesterday's game, played second base. He's played all over the diamond for him this season. Second, third, short, left, center, and right. Tonight he is in right field. They like his bat and his versatility in that lineup.
Well, they have 3 switch hitters in their lineup, and that's always an advantage for a manager. You don't have to make moves as the other team goes to their bullpen. And another great slider. How about 9 strikeouts for Robbie Ray?
Took a little something off of that one and really messed up the timing. You know, he talks about, I'll mix in a curveball every now and then, and I'll throw a change up, but he's basically fastball slider. That time he took a little something off, and it's almost like a changeup as you see Garcia way out in front on that breaking ball. And he missed it by about a foot.
Robbie Ray has thrown 70 pitches, 29 sliders, 40 fastballs, and 1 curveball. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's a fastball strike to start the at-bat to the catcher. Seby Zavala, as we mentioned, he's had a rough go of it so far. He struck out in his first at-bat, had 3 strikeouts in game 1 on Monday night. Robbie Ray pumping that fastball to him. Pete Walker and Guillermo Martinez. I'm sure they're talking a lot about what hitters look for against Ray, and Martinez can give Pete that perspective from a hitter, what they might look for. 0-2. Got him. Came right back with a fastball. How about 10 strikeouts through 5 innings for Robbie Ray? He's got the White Sox number. Afternoon, but we got more baseball for you from Fenway Park tomorrow night. It all starts at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific time. Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now. The Twins are at Fenway to take on the Red Sox. Chris Sale will go to the mound for Boston. Boston tonight trailing. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Red Sox. They trail Minnesota 2-0. Pivetta has given up a home run to Miguel Sano and an RBI to Andrelton Simmons. 1-1 ball game as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Lourdes Gurriel, Randall Grichuk, and Santiago Espinal to face Lucas Giolito. There's the first pitch strike. Pat, you mentioned the arm swing of Giolito, and it's really interesting. If you watch the ball come out of his hand, he keeps the baseball very tight to his chest, and he throws basically like a catcher. But it's difficult for hitters to track that baseball.
That was part of the reinvention after that 2018 season. He wanted to go back and rework everything. He was showing too much of the ball. Now he stays very close. He keeps his hands close to his body, and the ball goes straight up. It's a short arm swing. It goes straight up like that. What you said was perfect, just like a catcher. And it gets on those hitters very quickly. Now, out of that position, he can throw his fastball and his changeup and now his slider, but it's a new thing for him, and it's working out for him, his new windup.
When a pitcher has a long arm action, the ball will appear down by his side and maybe sometimes behind his back, and all that while the hitter can track the baseball and really get a feel for the timing of when that ball's coming in his direction. But with Giolito now, he holds that ball so tight to his chest and hides it, and then it just kind of gets on you very quickly.
Yeah, and it's a short arm swing. A lot of times hitters can look in if you hook the ball behind your back. See, you never see the ball. You never see it until he's ready to release it. If you hook that ball behind you, you might be able to pick up the grip. There was a lot of times where I was facing pitchers who did that, and you could see how they were holding it, and you could get a little bit of a peek to see what they were throwing, how they were holding it, if it was a four-seam fastball or a slider or the splitter or whatever it is. Giolito doesn't give you that chance to do that because he hides the ball very well.
There's a liner into left field. Vaughn coming in, and he makes a sliding catch. Andrew Vaughn, basically a first baseman, making his 82nd start in left field. He's made a nice adjustment. He's not really an outfielder, but he has worked hard to be adequate there in left.
They had some injuries in their outfielders, so they wanted to get his bat in the lineup and keep it in the lineup. He also plays first base. Jose Abreu is going to play over there, so they needed to find a position for him, put him in left field. He's been adequate out there for him, serviceable, but his bat has helped out that offense for sure.
He's got 15 home runs, Vaughn does. Randall takes a first pitch slider for his strike. I mean, we're seeing Giolito's thoughts play out here in this game about adding that third pitch. That slider really complements his fastball and changeup. And you think, okay, well, if he throws 2 pitches, I can pick 1 out. But now he's incorporated a third pitch, and it makes it much more challenging. There's a fastball on the corner. Strike 2.
Well, think about it as a right-handed batter. That changeup might be coming into you, or the fastball's coming into you. Now you got something to deal with that's going away from you, a slider or a curveball that's going to be going away from you. Now you got to cover both sides of the plate. And as I watch Giolito, I'm reminded of Bruce Hurst. I know you faced Bruce Hurst back in the day. When Bruce first came up, it was fastball, curveball. I never minded facing him. You could see the ball against him. But when he came up with that splitter, he became an all-star. He became a great pitcher. It's just you had to deal with that third pitch. And as a hitter, that can be very tough.
There's another strikeout on the changeup for Giolito. Randall worked it to 2 strikes, and then he just throws this floater in there, and it's difficult to put the bat on the ball.
Yeah, and it's going to go down this time. And you're geared up for that number 1, that fastball. You start your swing, and it's just not there. Boy, any pitcher that can command 3 pitches and throw them at any time in the count, they're going to be tough to hit.
He starts off Espinal with a changeup and misses. Giolito has 5 strikeouts. All 5 have come on the changeup. Charlie Montoyo trying to change his luck. He's down at the other end of the dugout, and it works for that at bat. A 2-out single for Espinal. Number 9 hole, really important for the Blue Jays. We've talked often about it this year. Get on base, and that's when the top of the order can do their thing. So Espinal gets a base hit.
He struck him out last time on a changeup. This time he throws him a fastball, and SP, he can hit a fastball. That's his hot zone right there. Inside right there, especially that fastball right there.
You know, you never really think about it, but the on-base percentage for the Blue Jays in the 9th spot in the lineup is the 3rd best in the American League. The Yankees have a .344 on-base percentage, the Royals .320, and the Blue Jays are right there at .312. There's another changeup cut on and missed, but that is so important for this team because they have so many potent bats at the top of the order. If that guy in the 9th spot can keep the inning going, they got a chance to score some runs.
How many times has Charlie Montoyo told us that this year, how important the bottom of the lineup is? If they get on base, we're going to score runs because you turn it over to our best hitters.
A snap throw first, and Espinal is back. Bo's behind 1-2. He cut on that changeup and missed. Bo is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out. Another changeup lifted in the air, shallow center. Here comes Robert. He'll get there, and that'll do it. Blue Jays get a 2-out single. They leave another base runner. Through 5 innings, it's a 1-1 game. Starting at just 6 tickets per suite, you can enjoy a safe, socially distanced game experience. Visit BlueJays.com/suites to purchase a suite today. It's always a great way to entertain fans, or if you got a business associate, you want to show a good time, you can rent a suite and fill up that suite with a bunch of guests and have a good time at the old ballpark. So check it out. 1-1 game. Robbie Ray jams Tim Anderson with the first pitch. Espinal throws him out. 1 down here in the top of the 6th.
He wasn't going to wait around at all and get the 2 strikes and be another strikeout victim. He swings at the first pitch for the 2nd time tonight. Fastball inside, and he jammed him up. That's a timing issue right there. Robbie's fastball got in on him that time.
Robbie Ray has 10 strikeouts. 8 of those strikeouts have come on the slider. And the first pitch fastball. We had mentioned that Robbie Ray and Alejandro Kirk have really clicked when they are working together. Kirk does a good job of calling the sign that Ray's thinking about. And he checks his scouting report once again to look at things. And then Ray said, I didn't see that last sign. He nodded in agreement and then had some doubts, so he stepped off. Now he's set. That slider missed down and in. You know, Pat, there's always been a conversation about, well, how good is a catcher at calling a game? And the whole art of calling a game, in my mind, is just getting into the pitcher's head, making him confident that that's the pitch that is appropriate for that particular batter. And if the pitcher's thinking about it and he sees the sign, that'll give him a lot of confidence. Boy, that's a disappearing slider down and in.
The righties are just not seeing that thing tonight from him. It's tight. You saw it early in the game that slider had tight spin on it, so you're going to see a lot of crazy swings. But I'm with you about the catcher, you know, going over. That's why it's important that they sit next to each other, talk about the next inning, talk about how they want to attack that next hitter. There's another strikeout on another slider. It's pretty nasty. I've also, Buck, have had seen it in baseball where pitchers don't like facing or throwing to certain catchers, and they ask for the backup catcher. That's happened a lot of times in baseball as that slider gets under the bat of Moncada. 2nd time that Moncada has struck out tonight.
Steve Carlton always threw to Tim McCarver, and they would be reunited when they both played for the Phillies later on. They started out their career with St. Louis, but Tim McCarver was a great catcher. Everybody wanted to throw to him.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Corrales in. Greg Maddux, Javi Lopez, and they worked together. And Charlie O'Brien worked a lot with Maddux. But Pat Corrales in Cincinnati, when Johnny Bench was their starting catcher, he would go behind the plate to get guys back on track. If there was a starting pitcher, Wayne Simpson or Gary Nolan, if they had a bad outing, Sparky Anderson would put Pat Corrales back there to get the pitcher back on track. Of course, Bench was a great catcher, no question about it, but every once in a while, pitchers need a different look behind the plate.
9 times out of 10, that was a Sunday day game after a Saturday night game. That's when they usually like to get those backup catchers in there, give them the day game off.
Abreu fouls off the 3-0 pitch. Another testimony just how good Ray's stuff is. Good hitter. Knows he's going to get a fastball and still can't get the barrel out.
Yeah, up and away. That is a tough pitch to handle. That fastball had some hair on it, and it was up and away. Not much you can do with that. Good hitters, they'll foul that pitch off. See what he goes back here now, 3-1, if he challenges him again with a fastball.
Came right back with a heater and gets a swing and a miss.
Wow, that's impressive. Throwing 2 fastballs by a pretty good hitter. Now, if you really want to mess him up, throw him a good slider. You might pick up another strikeout.
Missed with another fastball and walks Abreu with 2 outs here. That snaps a string of 9 straight retired by Robbie Ray. Moncada was the last base runner to reach. He had the 2-out single in the 3rd. Now Abreu draws the first walk of the ball game from Robbie Ray. Eloy Menace, I misspoke earlier in the game when I suggested he's from Cuba. He is from the Dominican Republic. My apologies to Mr. Jimenez. 2 outs, a man at first in this 1-1 game. The slider down and in. Robbie Ray working here in the 6th inning with 2 outs. He's thrown 85 pitches. Swung on and missed on that high fastball.
Jimenez came into this game with a 13-game hit streak. That is a career high. Robbie Ray trying to end that all by himself. He struck him out his first time up and got a weak ground ball his second time up. This is exactly what we thought it was going to be, a pitcher's duel between Robbie Ray and Lucas Giolito.
Called strike with a fastball. We had talked about the entire series being a bunch of good pitching matchups. Manoah and Lynn in game 1. Berrios got hit early in game 2, but Dylan Cease was outstanding. 7 innings of 4-hit ball. And tonight, Robbie Ray and Lucas Giolito. 1-2. That hit him. That slider hit him on the front foot, and he is down. It was a hard breaking ball that caught him on that front foot. He's still on the ground, and boy, that looked like it hit him right on the top of the foot.
Yeah, we could see on the replay what happened, but it looked like Robbie was going to try and really emphasize another strikeout by holding on to that slider and trying to create a little bit extra spin. And it looked like it might have got him on the toe. And he is down. He fills up that batter's box as he goes to try and swing and get out of the way, and that hits him right in the toe on the left foot. Robbie was going for another strikeout, and he just overthrew that one.
Well, these spikes nowadays are basically sneakers with spikes on them. And there's not a whole lot of protection. And you and I started when they had leather spikes and leather sole spikes and kangaroo leather and cowhide, and there was a little bit more protection. But boy, you get hit now on the shoe, and there's not much there to diffuse it. So Jimenez is at first now. That pushes Abreu down to second. Luis Robert, the center fielder, is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. It's a 1-1 game, top of the 6th. He's late on that fastball. It's fouled up the right side. We mentioned the pitching matchups in this series. We got another good one tomorrow. Hyunjin Ryu will go up against Carlos Rodon, who's coming off the injured list to make that start tomorrow. Initially, it was thought to be Dallas Keuchel, but they pushed Keuchel back to Friday. I saw Pete Walker talking to the bullpen. Fastball missed inside. Robbie Ray has had some very intense pitches over his last several starts. He hasn't given him any run support, and he's pitching a lot of tight innings. High breaking ball. 1-2 now.
Yeah, and because of that, he has had 4 straight no decisions. He's pitched well enough to win all 4 of those games this month. Cleveland, Boston, Seattle, and Detroit. He hasn't had a decision this month. Trying to get him out. Blue Jays get a run for him and then maybe get a win out of this.
Missed with the fastball inside, 2-2. Trevor Richards first up for the Blue Jays tonight. He is loosening up with 2 outs here in the 6th. Pete Walker, Charlie Montoyo contemplating their next move. Robbie Ray trying to make that a moot point here. 2-2. Got him. What a pitch by Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray has 12 strikeouts. The 8th time he's had double-digit strikeouts this season. Robbie Ray's had a great slider all night long. He's pitching in a 1-1 game. Blue Jays need some offense. Sibian, Vladdy Guerrero, and Teoscar Hernandez. So far, they have managed just 1 run on 4 hits, and that has been a familiar theme on this homestand, Pat.
Yes, it has. You can see the runs that they have scored in each of the games on this homestand. And this from an offense. They've only scored 3 runs twice on this homestand. They have not been able to string hits together. They haven't been able to combine hits and walks, and they haven't hit a lot of home runs on this homestand. All right, that, you know, the pitching has something to do with that. They've run into some pretty hot pitchers right now. With Blue Jays, just they need to just pick out a good pitch. Don't worry about what's going on. Just take a good swing at a good pitch, and good things will happen.
Marcus Sibian had a ground rule double his first time up. And Simeon, of course, started his career with the Chicago White Sox. He was traded to Oakland and became Oakland's everyday shortstop. Marcus with the double, his 34th, his 66th extra base hit of the season. He gets a change up and fouls it back. Where these two pitchers have pitched a very similar game. Giolito has allowed a run on 3 hits. Robbie Ray a run on 4 hits. Not much going on for the offenses tonight. That fastball is upstairs. The White Sox have left 4 on base. The Blue Jays have stranded 3. And we're in a 1-1 game in the bottom of the 6th. Change-up hit in the air to left. Routine fly ball for Vaughn. He is there. Simeon's retired. 1 away.
You know, we have talked a lot about hitting being contagious. Lack of hitting can get contagious too, because you start putting a little bit more pressure on yourselves. Guys trying to do a little bit too much instead of what they're just accustomed to doing. When a team's not hitting, just go up there and try and keep it as simple as possible, and everybody just try to have good at bats, and you'll come out of it.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about trusting the process. How many times have we heard that this season? You got to trust the process. You can't chase hits. The hits will come naturally once you go through the right process. Vladdy had a good at bat his last time up. He had a 2-0 slider into center field for a 1-out base hit, and he would score the Blue Jays run on Corey Dickerson's triple. Slider down and away. It's 2-0 once again. Same count he got his base hit on last time up.
Yeah, and we have talked about Vladdy, how he is seeing the ball this early in the season. He was seeing the ball, staying back. Those first 2 pitches right there, he was on his backside and he was tracking those pitches. That's a good sign. If he gets a good pitch to hit here, he might hit it hard.
He's taking all the way and looked at a changeup right at the top of the zone. Vladdy scoring the run has now scored 94 runs this season and leads the American League. He's 2 ahead of Bo Bichette. Simeon is tied for 3rd with Altuve. Another changeup bounced in the dirt. 3-1. Boy, Pat, unorthodox approach right now would be to look for a 3-1 changeup. But Giolito has so much confidence in it, I think you might get a changeup here.
Yeah, and if you're looking for it, go ahead. If that's your game plan, you know, you talk about routines. You also have to have a plan at the plate, and then trust that plan when you go up there to hit.
3-1 slider. Ball 4. So Giolito threw the slider in, walks Guerrero. A 1-out walk. That's his first walk. Each pitcher has only walked 1 in the game so far.
I think they have, you know, a message from their manager. Do not let Vladimir Guerrero beat you. Do not let him swing the bat. Every time he has come to the plate, they have been very careful with him this whole series. Said, we'll take our chances with Teoscar, and that's where Teoscar's at bat become very important. If they're not going to pitch to Vladdy, you got to make him pay.
Check swing, foul tip, a frustrating foul ball for Hernandez. That changeup was off the plate inside. Well, Guerrero on Monday night, Blue Jays were trailing 1-0. He had a 3-0 count, and Lance Lynn gave him a pitch to hit, and he drove in the tying run, and La Russa was livid. He couldn't believe they gave in to Guerrero at that point. So I think your point is well taken. That's not going to happen again.
Yeah, and in yesterday's game, they really didn't give him a whole lot to hit. Yesterday, he did have a hit. He was 1 for 4. He had a single. But managers will do that. They will pick that one guy in that lineup and say, he will not beat me. And I'll make the guy behind him swing the bat. Teoscar's been good since the All-Star break. He's had the most RBIs in the American League since the All-Star break. So his at-bats become very important. And then Dickerson behind him, same way.
1-2. The slider, he checked his swing. Yes, Jordan Baker calls it for a swing. It didn't look like the home plate umpire had any thoughts that he swung at it, but Jordan Baker, the first base umpire, rings him up.
He was so intent, the home plate umpire, of watching this ball that he did not see the swing. That's why the catcher Zavala said, hey, take a check down to first base, and Jordan Baker said yes he did. So that's the third time that Teo has struck out tonight.
So here's Corey Dickerson. He is responsible for the only run for the Blue Jays, an RBI triple with 2 outs his last time up. He goes after the first pitch, got the fastball, but fouled it back. You know, that's what hitters will tell you all the time. If you don't want to worry about the slider or the changeup, don't miss the fastball. And that's what happened with Dickerson right there.
Yeah, how do you hit the breaking ball? You don't miss the fastball. And that's what he got. He got it, and he fouled it off. Looked like he got a ball down and in his last time where he tripled up the right center field.
Change up downstairs. It's 1-1. For another terrific ball game. The Blue Jays, they fell behind early in last night's game and made it interesting late. Blue Jays won a 2-1 nail-biter on Monday night. And once again, it's 1-1 here in the 6th. High fastball.
And Corey's going to have to make him get that ball down. That was by design right there, that high fastball. He might double up with that thing now, too, after watching that swing.
Might come right back with it. Guerrero's at first. 2 outs. There's a fastball, and boy, Dickerson, don't you love his approach with 2 strikes? He chokes up even further when he gets to 2 strikes.
Yeah, and it looks like he's spread out just a little bit more with the lower half, no stride. and then he'll choke up and he'll just try and poke at that ball. You can see how wide his stance is. That's a lot different than earlier in the bat. Just to get the bat going, shorten up your swing, make sure you make contact, make sure you see the ball first. That's why he is such a good hitter.
Changeup hit on the ground. Hernandez throws late to second. It'll be an infield hit for Corey Dickerson as Vladdy was hustling into second base. Hernandez caught the ball, but he had no play. It's a base hit, his second hit of the game for Corey Dickerson.
Yeah, and if he could have got to his feet, he might have had a shot at either second or first base, but he had to dive to make sure he kept the ball on the infield and then just couldn't get his legs underneath him. Credit Vladdy for hustling on this play. He got a nice lead, good secondary lead, and he hustles to second base before that throw, and he's going to get his teammate a base hit. So some two-out hits from both of these teams tonight have been the run-scoring hits. Is there another one in there for Kirk? Right here, 2 outs, runner in scoring position.
Well, Alejandro Kirk, he can put the bat on the ball. He is grounded out and flied out in this 2 at-bats. Now Guerrero has to get a good lead, good secondary lead at second base. 2 outs. You got to be moving on contact. Slider for ball 1.
He has an advantage. I'm talking about Vladdy because the infielders are playing deep. Anderson, the shortstop, is on the grass. You can see him on the left of your screen. Hernandez, the second baseman, he also is playing deep. They want to try and knock the ball down, keep it on the infield so Vladdy can get a big, healthy secondary lead.
There's a ball that's dropped by Anderson, but he has enough arm to throw to first, and Kirk is retired. So the Blue Jays had a 2-out opportunity. They strand a couple of base runners. We'll go to the 7th. It's a 1-1 game. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet, presented by TD. Great seasons, and talk about the lowest all-time ERA in a single season. Roger Clemens has that distinction. 2.05 earned run average in 97. Then Dave Stieb, Juan Guzman, Clemens again, and Robbie Ray. He came into this game with a 2.79 earned run average, and he's allowed 1 run, so it's dropped in 5 points, but that's quite an impressive list, Pat.
Yes, it certainly is. Clemens, Guzman, Stieb, I mean, those are some of the best pitchers the Blue Jays have ever thrown out there. Robbie Ray in the top 5 now for a single season. He has dropped that ERA all the way down to 2.74. Remember, he gave up 2 earned runs in his first outing of the season, and then in his third, he gave up 3, then 2, then 3, then 3, and then 4. But then since then, he's been outstanding. He's got that thing under 3 now. And I love that they've sent him out here for the 7th inning.
Yeah, his pitch count is 94. He has 12 strikeouts. And there's a strike. It's 1-1. His career high in strikeouts came against the Dodgers in 2017. 14 strikeouts, a career high. It's in the air. A fly ball into shallow left. Bo Bichette out. He's there. The shortstop makes the catch. Vaughn's retired, 1 down. So Ray has had a 14 strikeout career high. He's also had 3 13 strikeout games and 4 12 strikeout games. So the strikeouts have always been part of his mix, but the big difference this year, he's not walking anybody. As you see Tim Meza standing by in the bullpen, getting loose now. Here's Cesar Hernandez. He goes after the fastball. Pat, you made the point about Hernandez being a good breaking ball hitter, and Ray gets ahead with that fastball.
Yeah, coming into this series under 200 against the fastball, one of the lowest in Major League Baseball, but he helps that out by being a very good breaking ball hitter, one of the best in baseball, hitting the off-speed pitch. So I think you got to heat him up
Lucas Giolito and the pitching coach, Evan Katz, having a chat as Ryan Tepera, former Blue Jay, is starting to loosen up. He has not appeared in this series so far. Tepera was acquired at the trade deadline from the Chicago Cubs. That's a bunt foul as Hernandez was trying to get on base here. Mentioned Hernandez this season with a career high 20 home runs. His previous high was 15. As the conversation continues, I don't know if Giolito is campaigning to stay in the game or he's already been taken out of the game. Slider hit on the ground. Going to be a tough play for Espinal, and he can't come up with it. Hernandez tapped that slider down the third base line. It was kind of do or die for Espinal, and he couldn't come up with it cleanly.
Yeah, even if he does, I don't know if he was going to be able to get Hernandez at first base. He was playing a little bit deeper. You can see even if he comes up with it and gets enough on it, Hernandez runs so well that Espy, as he tries to transfer it into his bare hand, can't come up with it. If he does, it's still probably going to be a base hit.
It's the fourth hit for Chicago. See Garcia. Here's a switch hitter like Hernandez, and when Robbie Ray threw to first, he squared around like he was going to bunt, and there's no reason to think he's going to bunt in this situation. The number 9 hitter, Zavala.
I think that was a deke, a veteran move.
Yeah, he just squared around just to put a thought in their head, but there's no way he's bunting with one out here. Number 9 hitter Zavala, he struck out both times he's come to the plate. The only right-handed hitter they have on their bench is Danny Mendick. He has been playing shortstop until Anderson came back tonight. Hernandez, not a real base-stealing threat. He has just 1 for 2 so far this season. Called strike. Good fastball, catches the inner half. 0-2.
Garcia got the hit and scored the run with a couple of stolen bases earlier this game in the 3rd inning. One way to diffuse running games, hit and run, pump strikes in there, and that's what he has done here, jumping ahead 0-2. Now you want to finish him off.
Another terrific game, 1-1 here in the top of the 7th. Hernandez at first. Ground ball through the right side, a base hit. Hernandez will stop at second. So the White Sox have a couple of runners aboard with 1 out here. And now it's over to Tony La Russa. Does he make a pinch hitting move here? The catcher, Serbi Zavala, has struck out both times he's faced Robbie Ray. Here's a look at the pitch.
Yeah, I've been watching the bench, and it doesn't look right now that they're going to make that change. A good pitch from Robbie Ray. He jams him up, but because they're holding that runner on and they're in double play depth, somehow he's able to squeeze that ball through the right side. It hit it very hard, but he hit it in a good spot, and a couple of base hits that were not hit very hard. Either one of those were not hit very hard, but he's got to deal with the number 9 hitter now.
Zavala will bat for himself here with first and second and 1 out. As we mentioned, he struck out both times he's faced Robbie Ray tonight. He struck out 3 times in the game on Monday night. But he's got 5 home runs. He has the distinction of hitting 3 home runs when he collected his first big league home run. He had 3 home runs in that game. First time that's ever happened in the big leagues. relatively productive in these situations, 6 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Robbie Ray understands the significance of this situation, takes a little more time and nods to the pitch he wants to throw.
Yeah, they got a runner out at second base, so they're going to go through their series of signs right here. There's a lot of swing and miss in the batter, so I think you got to concentrate on him.
Ball and a strike now. Fouled back. Boy, Robbie Ray has been really consistent in the month of August. This is his 5th start in August. He's pitched a total of 33 1/3 innings. He's allowed just 6 runs. The downside of the way he has pitched is the fact that the Blue Jays have only scored 7 runs while he's pitching. One and two. Missed with the fastball inside. 2-2. Ray up to 107 pitches now.
You know, we talked about that early in the game. He is in such great shape and takes care of his body and works out in between starts, that his stuff in his last inning, and this is probably his last inning, is just as good as it was in the first couple of innings.
Got him. What a big pitch by Robbie Ray as Zavala strikes out for a 3rd time. That's 13 strikeouts for Robbie Ray.
Looked like the slider did the trick that time after he pumped a couple of fastballs at him, blew it right by him, and then he throws that slider for another strikeout. He has had a bundle of strikeouts tonight on that slider. It's been down, it's been good, it's been late breaking. Picks up a big one. Good job by Kirk to smother that ball also.
This is the 11th time this season that Robbie Ray has thrown 100 or more pitches. He's up to 108. His season high is 112. And he hasn't lost a thing. Anderson goes after the first pitch and fouls it off. Robbie Ray now one off his career high in strikeouts. He had 14 strikeouts in September of 2017 at Dodgers Stadium against LA. Foul out of play. 0-2.
Man, he is like, I don't care who the hitter is. I'm going to pitch you all the same way with my best stuff. He is pumping it in there. Tim Anderson's a good hitter. He's having a great year. Robbie Ray is one pitch away from getting out of this situation.
Swing and a miss. He got him. 14 strikeouts for Robbie Ray. He strands 2 base runners. What a performance by Robbie Ray. Now the Blue Jays need to get him a run. He ties his career high with 14 strikeouts tonight. And this is the last pitch in the inning, and Tim Anderson strikes out. A little emotion for Robbie Ray, and Tim Anderson glares out to the mound, but I don't know what Anderson's concerned about. Robbie Ray has stymied them all night long. I think Anderson might have been more praiseworthy than anything else. Like, man, you've been nasty tonight, and that he has. He's got 14 strikeouts, and that will put him on top of Garrett Cole for the league lead in strikeouts with 192. What a game for Robbie Ray. Ryan Tepera, the former Blue Jay, into the game, making his 55th appearance of the season.
And I love the emotion that you saw from Robbie at the end there. That's a big situation. You don't think these guys want to win? That was something else to watch that. A good hitter and a good pitcher battling one-on-one, and he won that battle in a very big part of this ball game.
Tepera in to face Gurriel and throws him a first pitch cutter. Gets a swing and a miss. Well, what a game. Each team with a same line. 1 run on 5 hits and no errors. The White Sox have stranded 6. The Blue Jays have stranded 5. Lucas Giolito out of the game.
And this is what we were talking about. He's, a tough situation. It's against a good team, the Chicago White Sox, against their best player, and he strikes him out. Of course you want to show some emotion. That's what everybody's talking about. That's what they want to see from baseball players.
That's a foul ball. Bounced foul to wide of third. Moncada throwing across the diamond. Tim Anderson's a great player. Anderson was a batting champ in 2019, and game's on the line. I don't blame Robbie Ray one bit, and I don't think Anderson did either. I think he was just acknowledging, man, you are nasty tonight. I mean, this is a heck of a hitting ball club, and Ray has 14 strikeouts. What a game. Gurriel, Grichuk, and Espinal, bottom third of the order against Ryan Tepera. Off the plate.
Well, Ryan's going to throw that fastball, a lot of sliders, an occasional splitter. His breaking ball, that's what he's going to be throwing, featuring most. So as hitters, I think that's what you can go up there looking for, that cutter or that slider. He throws a lot of them.
And there it is again. Gets a swing and a miss. First out of the bottom of the 7th, Lucas Giolito. Boy, he matched Robbie Ray, and they were both terrific tonight. 93 pitches for Giolito. He allowed just 1 run. A Corey Dickerson RBI triple in the 4th. He walked 1 and struck out 6. And so he is out of the game, and now the pitcher of record for Chicago is Ryan Tepera.
They are not disappointing. We figured it was going to be something like this. Great pitchers duel where every pitch means something, every play means something. This is what it's all about when you get deep into a season and you're trying to get into the playoffs.
Off the plate again to Randal Grichuk. 1-0. Tepera spent 5 seasons with the Blue Jays. He pitched 216 games in a Jays uniform. There's another cutter. This one dribbled foul up the third baseline. Tepera had a real good season in 2018 when he made 68 appearances. Actually, in 17 and 18, that's when he really found his spot down in that bullpen. Had a career high 77 2/3 innings for the Blue Jays in 2017. Fastball on the outside corner.
Oh, remember how they used him out of the bullpen? They would use him for multiple innings. And it seemed like the more innings that Ryan got, the more confidence he got coming out of the bullpen and saying, hey, I can do this at the major league level. He's had a nice career.
Tepera strikes out Grichuk, second out of the inning. Let's go back and look at Robbie Ray's line, Pat. Pretty impressive line over 7 innings.
Boy, and you're talking about the Chicago White Sox with all those hitters up and down that lineup. 7 more innings from a starter, from Robbie Ray. 5 hits, just 1 earned run. The base hits were not hit very hard. Remember, they only hit or the only run he gave up was that blooper down the right field line that wasn't hit very hard, and of course the big 14 strikeout. So he has had a magnificent night. Now the Blue Jays need to get him a run so they can get him a W.
There's a slider to Espinal. Robbie Ray, in his first start against the White Sox back on the 8th of June, had 13 strikeouts in 6 1/3. In that game, he had a same line, 5 hits, 1 run allowed. So he's had their number for sure. Tim Meza will come into the game. It'll be Moncada, Abreu, and Jimenez for the White Sox in the top of the 8th. Boy, the starting pitching has been terrific lately. Barrios had a little hiccup in his start yesterday, but boy, oh boy. It started with Ray on Friday night as he opened up the series against the Tigers. He had 11 strikeouts in that game. This down and away. It's 2-1 to Espinal. Espy's got a single tonight.
Yeah, and it's off a fastball. He can try and look fastball right here. You mentioned that starting pitching. Ryu was great on this homestand. Steven Matz was good. Manoah has been good. And now Robbie Ray tonight has been better than all of them.
Robbie Ray's been the best pitcher all season long. And remember, he started out on the injured list. He had had a fall in his apartment in spring training, bruised his elbow. It wasn't a pitching injury at all, but that got him off to a little bit of a slow start, and he had some walk issues. He just had some rest when he started the season. But after that, boy, he got settled in, and he's been terrific. So there's a 2-out walk to Espinal. Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Toronto Blue Jays. So a timely base on balls issued to Espinal. He takes ball 4 with 2 outs, and that'll get Bo Bichette up. We mentioned the Blue Jays. They haven't scored many runs when Robbie Ray's been on the mound in this month of August. Just 7 runs in 5 starts that Ray has made in this month. Bo Bichette's 0 for 3. Takes a strike.
You know, in this situation, 2 outs, I take my chances with Espinal trying to steal second base here. You know, it's the 7th inning. Try and get into scoring position for Bichette. Tepera throws a lot of breaking balls, and Zavala doesn't throw very well behind the plate.
Not running here, and there's a breaking ball. Zavala's thrown out just 2 of 22 base stealers this season, so the odds are in the Blue Jays' favor. Espinal is 5 for 6 in steal attempts. And Tepera is going to check in on him. But I'm with you, Pat. You're playing at home. It's a 1-1 game. Bottom of the 7th inning. Roll the dice.
Yep. And you've struggled to score runs. If he gets thrown out, Bo leads off next inning with a fresh count and nobody out. There's 2 outs. Take a shot.
Tepera is very deliberate to the plate as well. He took his time unloading that pitch. Now it's 1-2. Might be a situation where they've given Espinal the green light, but he hasn't felt comfortable with his timing at first, getting his first look at Tepera. There he goes. Breaking ball is fouled out of play. He had a good jump there, Pat.
Oh, he had a great jump, and it was a slider that was going to be off the plate, but Bo was going to try and protect the plate. If he takes it, he's at second base. Look at this jump on the slider. Catcher wasn't going to throw him out at all, but Bo, figuring it was a little bit too close to take, fouls it off. But that's the right play right in this situation right here. Try and get into scoring position.
And Tepera will chase him back at first. Boy, I got to marvel at Tony La Russa. He's in his 34th year as a manager, and he has been on top of that dugout step for the whole ball game. He doesn't miss a trick, man. Sorry, he's so successful. He's 76 years old. Not running here. Changeup. That split changeup Tepera developed a couple years ago gets the foul ball.
Tony never takes his eyes off the field, does he? I've been watching him in that dugout, and he just never takes his eyes off the field. He's always watching the pitcher, or the runner, or the catcher, or whoever it is. Right now, he's watching this situation, Tepera versus Bichette, with the outside drama of the runner over at first base. A possible steal attempt.
I sent a text to Dennis Eckersley before this game tonight, and I asked him about the qualities of Tony La Russa. He said he grinds it out, man. Of course, Eck played with him in Oakland and in St. Louis. But he said he never misses a pitch. He's well prepared. He grinds with the best of them, and he's doing it again tonight. One and two. Popped up. Out in front of home plate. Moncada will come down from third, and that'll do it. Tepera gets Bo. Blue Jays leave a base runner. We'll go to the eighth. A terrific 1-1 ball game.
The ball, you think back to Monday. Mesa came in throwing smoke. 2 strikeouts, leaving no doubt. And Charlie Montoyo telling us that besides Jordan Romano, Mesa has been his most reliable reliever. Now, the role is new to Mesa, and so is fatherhood. Meet 7-month-old Everett, who has been a regular at the ballpark with his mom, Darian. The little guy just started crawling this week, and having Everett has changed Mesa's perspective. Tim said it's so important to him, knowing when he leaves the field that someone needs him at home to change diapers, to feed, and now there's such a separation when he leaves the stadium, knowing there's a whole new job, becoming a father and being a dad. So these days, Buck, Mesa's not just balancing work and home life, he's actually excelling at both of them.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool story, Arash. Thank you for that. And Tim Mesa, a terrific kid. And a couple of years ago, of course, he threw a pitch here at Rogers Center, felt a pop in his elbow, had to go through Tommy John surgery and the long rehab and the comeback. But, Pat, he's back to where he was before that arm injury.
Yeah, nobody knew in spring training what to make of Tim. Nobody was sure if he was going to be able to bounce back this year, if he's going to have to go to the minor leagues and build back up. Had a great spring. Remember, it was down to Francisco Liriano and him, and Liriano was let go. Mesa made the team, and he's had a fantastic season. Good for him.
Moncada pops it up, felt something in his hand. You can see him wince in pain in that left wrist. And that's going to be interesting. He took an awkward swing and immediately felt something in his wrist. That's going to bring the trainer out and the manager. I don't know if he can continue. Looks like he's in a lot of pain, but we'll see what they determine.
Fastball away. And on the swing, you can see the follow through. He felt something in that wrist, or maybe it's the hamate bone right underneath, right around the wrist area. But he felt something as that bat came around in his wrist, and it's so, if you have any little feeling in that hand where it doesn't feel right, you can't swing a bat. Looks like he's going to try, but that's especially your bottom hand, Buck. That's your strong hand on the bat too. Top hand, if you've got a little problem there, you can let go of it after you finish your swing. But that bottom hand, you got to be strong.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising. He was clearly in a lot of pain, but he maybe just had something click there. Danny Mendick was ready if needed. 0-2. Called strike 3. So Moncada takes a called strike. One down here in the 8th.
Every local family-owned Home Hardware supports the specific needs of their community because that's what being locally owned, genuinely Canadian is all about.
Boy, that has to smell good. I'm sure it does. Hot popcorn, nothing like it, Pat. One out here is Abreu, and he takes a first pitch strike. Meza has been tough on lefties and righties. Right-handers hitting .222 against him. Lefties just .197. Overall, a .211 opponent's batting average for Tim. Abreu is 1 for 2 with a walk. He had a single in the first inning, struck out in the third.
Boy, he is just pumping that fastball in there. He's gaining by the day confidence with that fastball. I love the movement he's getting with that two-seam fastball. It's not straight. It's not a four-seam fastball that you can pump in there. It's got some movement on it. That's how he's able to get those right-handed batters out with regularity.
You know, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the White Sox last night. They had 5 runs on 18 hits. And tonight, Robbie Ray and Meza so far just really slamming the door on them. 5 hits to this point with 1 out in the 8th inning. It speaks volumes about how nasty Robbie Ray was. 1-2. Bounced into dirt, a little bit short of the mark by Meza. Aaron Bummer, a left-hander, loosening up for Chicago. You would imagine Liam Hendriks is unavailable tonight, given the number of pitches he threw in the game. A very, very tough outing for Hendriks. He went an inning and 2/3, and threw 39 pitches. So I can't imagine he's available tonight. That fastball just missed inside. It's 3-2.
Yeah, and Tony La Russa talked about that after the game yesterday. He says that, you know, he probably will not be available, but we have another closer down there in Craig Kimbrell. So he says he feels pretty good about that opportunity if there's a save opportunity for him.
Called strike 3. Meza with another high fastball. 2 strikeouts, 2 down here in the 8th.
Well, Robbie Ray, it was just nasty tonight, and we'll show you how nasty he was. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Look at all of these sliders and where they are. Remember, there's a lot of right-handed batters in this lineup tonight. A career high, ties a career high in strikeouts with 14. 12 of them with the slider. A lot of them down and in against those right-handed power hitters of the White Sox.
Chicago has now struck out 16 times tonight. That ties their season high. They just had a 16 strikeout game in St. Pete against the Rays. They also had 16 strikeouts against the Tigers back on the 5th of June. And now they're 1 strike away from setting a season high. Eloy Jimenez is behind 0-2. So the team that had 18 hits last night is on the verge of setting a season high in strikeouts tonight. See, Abreu said, I just got to tip my hat to Meza on that strikeout. Broken bat, shattered bat, ground ball to Bo, and that'll do it. 3 up, 3 down in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 1-1 game. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie and Joe. Tony La Russa came out of the White Sox dugout and he called for the crew chief, Mark Carlson, who was umping at third, and he had a little conference with the umpires, and I have no idea what the nature of that discussion was, but he said he wants to look at something, probably the play at first base that ended the inning, and he's trying to get the umpire's attention. And he says, hey, I want to look at the replay here, and here's the play that was in question. Gurriel, and whether or not he caught the ball while he was on the bag, that's the only thing I can think about. He goes up, and he came off the bag after he caught it, but the umpires didn't see reason for an inquiry. But Mark Carlson is the crew chief, still talking to his umpiring mates. And now we have a new pitcher in for the White Sox after Tepera had a good inning of work. It's Aaron Bummer.
And don't you need to let the umpires know right away if you want to take a look at that? I don't know what that was all about. If that was it might have been a little bit too late. Maybe that's what they were telling them, that you didn't let us know in time. Not really sure, but we will see. Aaron Bummer, the left-hander, they got two really good lefties down in that bullpen. Crochet and Bummer's the other one. He creates a very tough angle. He throws 3/4 sidearm. He short arms the ball. He's got a fastball, of course. He's also got a pretty good slider that he'll throw about 30% of the time, and a little bit of a cutter. But he can be tough on lefties. And he's had a good season for the White Sox.
Well, for the Blue Jays, it'll be Simeon Guerrero and Teoscar Hernandez, and it's kind of interesting they went to a lefty in this situation, but I think they're saving, obviously, Kimbrough for a 9th inning appearance, and there's a first pitch strike to Simeon. Bummer got a little bit of giddy up on that fastball. Righties have hit just 235 against him. Lefties 186. And there's a good slider inside, a little cut fastball he got inside. 0-2.
You can see with that short arm that ball gets on to you quick. We were talking earlier about long arm swings and how hitters can pick up the ball a little bit easier. He's got a very quick arm, a short arm swing, and it gets on you quick.
One ball, 2 strikes. Way outside. That breaking ball slipped out of his hand. 2-2 now. Bummer given the tough part of the lineup. Simeon, then Guerrero, and Teoscar Hernandez. Marcus had a double his first time up. There's a good breaking ball, but it's low. They appeal down to first. No swing. It's a full count.
Last worked 5 days ago in that Tampa series. Just a third of an inning did Bummer throw in that game versus the Rays. He was charged with a blown save, gave up a couple of earned runs. Was just trying to do the same thing to him.
Swing and a miss. Simeon strikes out. It's the WNBA on Sportsnet. Tomorrow night, the LA Sparks take on the Connecticut Sun, 7 Eastern on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet Now. So Simeon strikes out to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Now Vladdy Guerrero. Vladdy is 1 for 2. He scored the Blue Jays run in the 4th on the Corey Dickerson RBI triple. Guerrero walked his last time up. Off the plate with that cut fastball. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am telling you, they are not going to try to give him anything to hit again. I think that's going to be the game plan. He singled and scored a second time up, walked, and was stranded at second base. And they are going to be very careful with him.
And of course, La Russa, I'm sure he's given instructions. Don't let Guerrero beat you. Teoscar Hernandez tonight has struck out 3 times. So I would be very surprised if Vladdy gets anything near the strike zone. Well, he got a strike there. Three and one. I gotta imagine they're gonna go right down there, 3-1 again. Same spot, trying to get him to chase, but Vladdy took a 3-1 slider from Giolito and walked his last time up. George Springer is getting close, but he's not there yet. Ball 4. Oh man, a late call. Guerrero was headed to first. Chris Siegel rings him up for that low strike.
Yeah, nobody can believe it, but it looked like it caught the strike zone. Bummer's got some sink to that fastball, and he got some carry to it. Let's see if we can see it right here. That shows that it was just a little bit low. But it looked like it was, yeah, that is low from the side there.
That's a lot lower on the side for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Now here's where a pitcher really runs into trouble now. You're thinking, okay, it's 3-2. Now I can get him out.
Yeah, now I can throw my best pitch here and try. And he might, but this is where, you know, if you have instructions to pitch around him or don't give him anything good to hit, you get the 2 strikes. You think you can get him. This is when you can lock in right now if you're Vlad and try to do some damage.
That one was clearly a strike, and Guerrero is caught looking at strike 3, so Bummer gets a couple of strikeouts. Brian Tepera struck out 2 in his inning of work in the 7th, and now Bummer has a pair of strikeouts with 2 outs here in the 8th.
Well, you've mentioned the White Sox, how many times they have struck out tonight. And he knows that he walked on that one pitch, but he knew that last one was a strike. 10 strikeouts by Blue Jay hitters tonight.
Teoscar Hernandez, he's had a tough night. 3 strikeouts so far. He fouls this one off. It's 1-1. Teoscar has had 3 strikeouts in a game now 4 times. He has won 4 strikeout game. That was way back in April in Dunedin against the Angels. But he can turn this game around with 1 swing of the bat. Downstairs for ball 2. Went after a borderline pitch away. It's 2-2. Jordan Romano is ready, standing by if the Blue Jays take the lead. Breaking ball outside. Full count. Katz, the pitching coach, Tony La Russa, the manager, discussing where they go next. Three and two. Breaking ball hit in the air to right. That ball is in front of Garcia. A base hit. So Teoscar keeps the inning going. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. What a terrific shot of our mobile truck here at Rogers Center. Troy Clara, Doug Walton, the entire crew doing a terrific job once again. And that's a busy screen right there, folks. That wall is awfully busy. What's going on there?
Ethan Katz is out to talk to Bummer. It looked like the Blue Jays have sent Breivik Valera to the plate to pinch hit for Corey Dickerson. They didn't like the left-on-left matchup after that base hit. There's Valera, the switch hitter. So Ethan Katz, the pitching coach, is out to give him a little bit of a scouting report here, what they want to do with Valera. Hernandez is a threat to steal. Just like last inning, Espinal was a threat to steal with 2 outs. I think Teo is a threat to steal to get himself into scoring position. It's going to be a little bit tougher against Bummer because he's a left-hander and he's quick to the plate. But you might want to roll the dice here and gamble and get him into scoring position.
So Dickerson has the only RBI of the game. He finishes up the game 2 for 3 with a triple and a single. Valera takes a first pitch strike. Bummer's got a lot of late movement, much like Tim Mays on that fastball.
Yeah, that's why you got to really concentrate and really follow that ball all the way in.
Ground ball through the right side. That's a base hit. Hernandez has to stop at second. Valera is now 4 for 8 batting against lefty pitching. Comes off the bench and gets a base hit here. Keep the inning going.
Holding the runner on. We saw this earlier tonight with Chicago with the runner at first base. The batter gets jammed and he's able to squeeze the ball through the right side of the infield. Valera gets it just out of the reach of Hernandez, the second baseman. Teo Hernandez goes to second base. Valera with the pinch hit. And now Kirk has a chance to put the Blue Jays ahead.
Valera is now 2 for 4 as a pinch hitter this season. Alejandro Kirk has gone 0 for 3 so far. Fastball for a ball high. Go ahead run at second base. Teoscar Hernandez, good base runner. Blue Jays tonight 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They've stranded 6. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
Teoscar has got enough speed, but he still has to get a very good secondary lead. Vaughn in the outfield. He's got 2 outfield assists. Robert has a good arm as Ruiz starts to warm up. He's got 1 outfield assist. And Luis Garcia, the right fielder, is an infielder. He doesn't really have a strong outfield arm, but anything into the outfield, they're going to be sending Teoscar Hernandez and forcing them to try and throw him out at the plate.
So now Kirk with a 1-2 count, and Teoscar has a great look in from second base. Once he sees Kirk start that swing and get a great jump. Blue Jays have had 7 hits, and they haven't been able to come through with a base hit with a runner in scoring position tonight. Ball in the dirt as Teoscar had a big secondary lead, and Zavala was able to get in front of that breaking ball.
Knock it down any way you can. And it was a wild pitch in the 8th inning on Monday night in a 1-1 game that gave the Blue Jays the lead in a game that they would win. That was almost another one to the backstop. Good job by Zavala to block it, keep it in front of him.
Kirk shoots it down the right side, but that's a foul ball. Just a couple of feet foul down the right field line.
Boy, that would have been sweet. Would have scored 1 for sure, maybe even 2. Valera might have been able to score on that one. And after that hit down the right field line, they're going to talk about this. I don't know if they wanted to go inside and it ended up on the outside part of the plate. That's where Kirk likes the ball, away from him. That ball slicing, and it was close. A couple of feet. Got to do it all over again now.
Well, all of these games have been nail biters. The Blue Jays even got into the game late last night when they lost 5-2. Blue Jays won the opener 2-1. And here we are in the 8th in a 1-1 game. Alejandro Kirk trying to come up with a big hit. Breaking ball lined into center field. Teoscar's around third. He scores easily, and the Blue Jays have the lead. Alejandro Kirk with a terrific at bat picks up the RBI, and the Blue Jays take a 2-1 lead.
That's where he likes the ball, out away from him where he can shoot the ball the other way. His best stroke is to right center field, and it was on display right there with 2 strikes. Blue Jays finally come up with a clutch hit with 2 outs, 2 strikes. Likes that ball away from him, shoots it up the middle. What an at bat as Teoscar can score easily. Blue Jays take the lead just like they did on Monday night in the 8th inning. With that base hit, clutch.
Teoscar was running on the pitch. He was headed to third when the ball was put in play and scores easily. Alejandro Kirk with his 15th RBI. We got a pitching change, 2-1 Blue Jays. Blue Jays as they pursue a spot in the postseason. Single game tickets for all remaining 2021 games go on sale tomorrow. Socially distanced seating options are available on both the 100 and 200 levels. Visit BlueJays.com for tickets. And folks, there promises to be a lot of games just like this down the stretch. Aaron Bummer is out of the game. He got 2 strikeouts to start the inning. And then Teoscar Hernandez got a base hit to right. And how about Breivik Valera coming up with a big pinch hit, and then Kirk with the RBI single. Jose Ruiz into the game for Chicago.
Ruiz, originally from the Padres organization. He was an everyday player. They moved him to the mound early in his career. He was actually claimed off waivers about 4 years ago by this team. He's got one of the best arms out of that pen, and they've got a lot of good arms. This guy's fastball touches 97.
He drops that first pitch breaking ball in there. Valera's at second, Kirk's at first. Blue Jays have rallied to score a run here in the 8th. Good play by Zavala, getting in front of that breaking ball. Ball on his strike. Ruiz is just 26 years old. He's from Venezuela. As Pat mentioned, he came to the big leagues, got into one game with San Diego as a 22-year-old. We're back in 2017. And then this is his 4th season with the White Sox. Breaking ball hit to third under the glove of Moncada. Luis Rivera did a terrific job right there, because once you see the ball under the third baseman's glove, you assume that he's going to score early. But Anderson was playing behind him in the shift, and he got to it very quickly, and Rivera did a heck of a job of stopping the base runner at third.
He would have been out at the plate. He tops the ball to Moncada, and just like the other night when he made an error, that's going to be another one. And your first reaction, you're right, is to send that runner because it gets under the glove. But then right away he recognizes that Tim Anderson has backed up the plate, or he would have been out at home. Good play right there. Let's see if the Blue Jays can cash in on that error.
Randal Grichuk takes one outside. Bases are loaded. Moncada's 12th error of the season. Randal is 0 for 3. Some big runs out there on the bases. Grand slam would be nice, but I think Randal will take a base hit right here. Ball 3.
Or a walk. I want to see that approach we saw earlier this season where he kept that front shoulder in and hit a lot of balls right back through the middle or to right field. Stay within yourself.
Ball 4. A run will come in. Ruiz walks Grichuk with the bases loaded. Valera comes in to score, and it's 3-1 Blue Jays.
Boy, that's a nice add-on run against the White Sox. The other night they could only get one, and they won that game 2-1. Now with 2 here in the 8th inning, they're up by 2 runs. Still looking for that big base hit right here to maybe bust this thing open.
Moncada's error kept the inning going. Valera with a big pinch hit coming off the bench scores the 3rd run. Here's Espinal. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it back.
You know, we were talking earlier in the ball game about the Blue Jays, why they haven't been able to score some runs, because they haven't been able to string hits together or take advantage of errors from the other team or get some walks. Well, they've done that. Remember, the whole inning started with 2 outs. First 2 batters in this inning struck out against Bummer. Then a single error walk has given the Blue Jays a couple of runs.
There's a high strike. The slider catches the top of the zone. It's 0-2. Tim Mayza is the pitcher of record. Same for Aaron Brummer. They both entered the game in a 1-1 game. Mayza retired to side in order in the top of the 8th. Breaking ball fouled off.
You know, in Monday's game, it was 1-1 heading into the 8th inning. Blue Jays scored a run in that, and Romano slammed the door and got the save. Tim Mayza got the win. It was 1-1 heading into the bottom of the 8th inning tonight. Mayza is the pitcher. If Romano can come in and get the save, he would get the win in this one. Sure be nice to get a couple of more runs, though, before Romano comes in.
Ground ball, second baseman Hernandez has it, and the Blue Jays are retired, but what a nice inning. It all comes with 2 outs. The Blue Jays scored 2 runs in the 8th. Jordan Romano had the save on Monday, number 12. He's looking for 13 tonight. This winning moment brought to you by Winners. Find fabulous for less.
Blue Jays have been looking for that big base hit now, it seems like, for a week to try and win a ball game. 1-1 tie. Alejandro Kirk is going to deliver that big base hit with that single to center field. Gives the Blue Jays the lead 2-1. They would add another run on a bases loaded walk, but that base hit right there looks like it has a chance to be tonight's winner.
Terrific job by Kirk. He has picked up another RBI, his 15th of the season. And here's Jordan Romano. We mentioned he had the save on Monday night in that 2-1 game. He retired to side in order with a couple of strikeouts. He will work to the number 5 hitter to start, Luis Robert.
Yeah, he did it all in just 12 pitches with those couple of strikeouts. Teoscar Hernandez moves from right field to left field as Josh Palacios has taken over in right field. He is in the spot that Corey Dickerson was in.
First pitch from Romano is cut on and missed. Luis Robert 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Ground ball. That'll sneak by Bo into center field. Teoscar plays it back in. Luis Robert has a leadoff single. Well, we'll be right back with you tomorrow afternoon as this series wraps up. Hyunjin Ryu will start for the Blue Jays. Carlos Rodon will be activated, and he'll make the start for Chicago. It all starts at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure you check it out. It's on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now. Game 4 of this series against the White Sox, the last time these two teams will meet. And so far, the pitching matchups have been terrific. Andrew Vaughn goes after the first pitch and swings and misses. Vaughn is 0 for 3. The White Sox have struck out 16 times tonight. Up and away for a ball. It's 1-1.
You can see Jordan is slide stepping. Robert has some speed over there. Teams have taken advantage of his deliberate pace towards home plate. He is now slide stepping. But that run doesn't mean anything. It's the guy at the plate I think you need to worry about.
Well, exactly what I was thinking. There's no reason to slide step here. You just got to focus on getting the batters out. Romano's been terrific over his last 7 games. No earned runs and 14 strikeouts. He's been using that fastball very effectively. That one's upstairs. 3 balls and a strike. The White Sox have some good bats on the bench. Brian Goodwin and Jake Lamb, both lefty bats, available for Tony La Russa. Well, he went after a possible ball upstairs. 3-2 now.
Yeah, that's the book on him right there. If you're going to heat him upstairs with that fastball. Take your time right here. This is a big pitch right here in this inning. Need to get him.
Got him to chase that fastball away. We mentioned Vaughn is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. He's got some power. He's got 15 home runs this season. Fastball coming right at him. Romano has really relied heavily on his fastball lately, and that has been very productive as it's given him a great opportunity to set up that slider. You see Brian Goodwin getting loose on the White Sox bench just in case. Slider on the ground. Bo to Semien for one. Back to first. Double play. Well, what a good pitch by Romano. He threw a 3-2 slider and got a ground ball to the shortstop.
Yeah, the confidence to throw that slider after all those fastballs, and that slider, I think it jammed the hitter. He jammed himself as Bichette corrals that one. A good feed over to Semien, and the double play comes at the right time. Jordan throwing that confident slider to get 2 outs with 1 pitch.
Good job by the infield. Bichette, Semien, and Gurriel. 2 down now. Cesar Hernandez, a switch hitter. Batting left-handed for the first time, falls behind with a foul ball. Ball and a strike for Romano. Now it's 2 strikes. Another foul back.
If that double play does also, that tying run doesn't come to the plate. And Jordan's fastball's got some giddy up to it. Good breaking ball hitter at the plate. Maybe you go right back to that fastball upstairs.
Fastball just missed. Romano thought it might have been the ball game. Chris Siegel, the umpire, didn't see it that way. It's 2-2.
The batter was surprised that thing got on him, but it's just inside. Go right back in there with that same pitch.
And he did. At 99, it's fouled off the screen. Romano looking for his 13th save of the season. He has developed into a very reliable closer. .100 miles an hour, and Hernandez is hanging tough.
Yeah, Jordan blew his first save of the season, if you remember that, back against the Los Angeles Angels, April the 8th. Since then, 12 consecutive saves, 12 for 12. Now 12 for 13 on the season, looking for number 13.
2-2. Popped up. This should do it. Grichuk's in center, and he makes the catch, and that's the ball game. What a terrific game for the Blue Jays. The pitching was outstanding. Robbie Ray with 14 strikeouts over 7 innings. Corey Dickerson had an RBI triple. Alejandro Kirk knocked in Teoscar Hernandez for the go-ahead run. The Blue Jays would add another, and they win it 3-1.
Boy, this was a team win. You just mentioned everybody who had a hand in this one. They got some great pitching. Romano finishes it off. Another emotional win for him. Another save for him. Blue Jays were looking for some clutch hits. They got one from Alejandro Kirk late. This was a lot like Monday night's win, an emotional win for the Blue Jays, a close win, and Blue Jays have a chance to take the series tomorrow afternoon.
Hyunjin Ryu will go to the mound for the Jays. It'll be posed by Carlos Rodon. Terrific game. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Time now for Sportsnet Central. Here's Jesse and Danielle.